You guys, today's about to get nostalgic. By far my favorite era inside of Brawl Stars, and honestly one of the biggest things that I can attribute my channel to, at least in the very beginning covering Brawl Stars, was a particular glitch inside of the game that we made a lot of content on, and that is the awesome, the legendary star power and gadget glitches. But the reason we are going to be taking a look at some of the absolute best star power and gadget glitches that were ever in this game is because Brawl Stars kind of hit a little bit of a stride here with the last few updates, and it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of you guys haven't heard of these star power and gadget glitches. These are not clickbait thumbnails, people. As a quick TLDR so we can get into the action right away, basically there was a way back in the day that you could utilize other star power and gadget abilities from different brawlers and put them on others, basically combining them, which made for some crazy stuff, much like things that you're seeing in this thumbnail. So to make things interesting here, I've compiled 10 of my favorites. We're ranking these, the 10 best star power and gadget glitches way back in the day, and if you haven't heard of them, dude, your mind is going to be blown. Let's get into them. Starting off with number 10, and that is utilizing Mortis's Coiled Snake star power on any brawler in the game. That's right, dude. Any brawler could get the effects of Coiled Snake, which made for some really bizarre animation changes and making brawlers insanely OP. Just taking a look at this one on Shelly here. The shot animations would extend even. It's so dang cool, but this was really good for certain brawlers. Just to keep this video rolling, getting into my favorite examples, and that is brawlers that have really low range, right? Like El Primo. It's very noticeable on these characters, as you can see here. The perfect example, the punches go really far. Hopping into another example here, the range is just ridiculous on this guy. It feels weird sniping with the freaking tanks, man. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's insane. Literally keeping the distance. I think we get wrecked by the, yeah, okay. But I think the most noteworthy one aside from Primo was Rosa here, taking a look at the punches with Coiled Snake. As you can see, the fish just go so far. It's really bizarre, but a very satisfying star power glitch, coming in at number 10 out of a ton of them. All right, getting into number 9 here, and this is a specific combination that I had so much fun with at the time, and that is Bo's stun star power on Tick. It's ridiculous. Stuff like this is just a great example as to how OP the star power and gadget glitches were. They're only available in friendly battles, but as you can see, this combination, every single mine that Tick would shoot out would stun individuals for the same duration as Bo's mine stuns. It's crazy, dude. Imagine how toxic that would be. This combination was insane. Literally perma stunning individuals would be crazy. Such a troll one, and trust me, this list is just going to get better and better, guys. It gets even more crazy. Moving along to number 8 here, and this one's a bit more of a niche one, seeing that I think something happened with this combination. Even though the star power and gadget glitches were still working at the time, it stopped working, but that is specifically getting 2 stations for brawlers that had stations, even pets. I had to look back as to how this actually even worked out. Believe it or not, it was a combination with a old star power that's no longer in the game for B called Honeycoat. So of course, seeing that Honeycoat is no longer in the game, it was a pretty dang broken ability. What it did was allow B to escape death. When she got down to 0 HP, she would remain with 1 HP and a shield, and that was only available to be used 1 time per match. Think of it kind of like a longer version of Draco's gadget, right? But the bizarre interaction that it had with these spawner units in the game is that it would interact with the spawner, not on the individual's life. So it would spawn in a dupe spawner, and then the other one would have 1 HP, thus giving you 2. And I think my favorite one had to be Penny's here. As you can see, we had a Mortar already down. The bots were kind of getting in the way here, but yeah, I think we got to kill the Carl. But then we placed down another one. That one up there has 1 HP, stays alive, but duo turrets all by yourself. Could you imagine if you could get away with having 3 Pennies in a match, all utilizing this star power and gadget glitch, having 6 turrets on the field? It's nuts. But of course, this also worked out for like Pam's station, 8-bit station, though for some reason I don't think they got the ability. I'm not sure about that, but Penny's was the coolest in my opinion. Moving on to number 7, and that is literally like any brawler with Piper's snappy sniping star power. It's ridiculous. Seeing that the benefits that you get from Piper's snappy sniping comes from one bullet, in particular the brawlers that had multiple shots benefited from this immensely, like shotgunners on a heist safe. Just take a look at Shelly just rampage through the heist safe. Seeing that she has multiple pellets per basic attack, she literally never runs out of ammo, which of course you just melt through safes looking at it. The ammo bar does not drop whatsoever. Unlimited ammo. Snappy sniping was so good, and honestly I could have put it higher up here on the list, but man, I don't know, it's so good. But dude, like other examples like Colt would have infinite ammo, burst down heist safes like no other, right? Bulls was insane, doing more damage than Shelly up close and just ripping through that body. Got a little too close. And yeah, you just spam snappy sniping unlimited ammo. I remember I really liked Jeans a lot as well. If you positioned it perfectly for the spread, so you can get multiple of those spread shots, you would literally just spam like crazy. It was so satisfying. Look at that. So good. Snappy sniping will be one of my favorites. Number 6, people. Arguably, this could have gone lower, but I had to put this in here because it was discovered when everyone in the community first discovered these star power and gadget glitches being a thing, and it's very, very bizarre. Basically, if you throw on Poco's first star power, the one that you're able to heal up your teammates with, on any other brawler, you could literally kill your teammates. Look at this. It would reverse the reaction of the healing effect, right? If you're not using Poco, and it would allow you to kill your teammates. And I think it would go so far as to allow you to utilize like Jean's super. If you used it, you could pull your teammates, which was so dang troll. But yeah, it would also interact in really bizarre ways, like Shelly supering your teammates would heal them, but the basic attack would allow you to kill them. It was so freaking funny. Unfortunately, we could only use this against bots, but still, dude, so troll, man. Just being able to kill your teammates is so wild. Number 5 is going to be a pretty dang broad one. I'm classifying this as damage increasing star power and gadget glitches. Seriously, this should have been higher up on the list, but there's so many other like crazy ones here. But we have a lot of star power abilities here in this game that increase damage output. So whether that's demolition, dynamite. It's pretty dang good on dynamite with just one projectile, but can you imagine it on any other brawler that has a super that shoots out multiple projectiles, like Colt's super? Every single bullet would get that 1000 damage increase. And another good example was like Nani's at max range was even more than demolition. Things got absurd, but there were some other really niche combinations that would apply even more damage, much like the 8-bit star power interactions on certain brawlers. By far my favorite brawler to do star power and gadget glitches with, which I'll show you guys an example of it. But here's a good example. We're utilizing Piper's damage increasing star power on Daryl here in the grass. And as you can see, you can just shred, absolutely shred through high safes. What was that, like 3 shots and it was down to 24%? It's nuts. But here's another example here. I believe this is demolition on Colt. It's either demolition or Nani's super, but one super. Look at this. 26% left on the high save, bro. Oh my gosh. But by far my favorite one, I could honestly just place this combination on its own pretty dang high up on the list, but that is 8-bit. One of his star powers along with Tick here had such a bizarre interaction. As you can see, the 8-bit station is applied to the Tick head, but it boosts it in a very, very bizarre way. Something with like the damage output of the Tick head coupled with the damage station was also applied to the basic attack for Tick. You can see why the 8-bit station had super bizarre interactions with different characters in the game. Literally 3-shotting the heist safe there with Tick. It was freaking wild. Each mine did 8,000 damage, so like, come on, man. But I'd be lying to you if I told you that was the craziest 8-bit combination there was. We'll be visiting that one later on the list. Oh, what do you know? It's actually the next one. Here at number 4, when you utilize 8-bit station, I think just the first star power for 8-bit, it was also given to Ems and applied to her super. However, the weird way it interacted with Ems' super is even after the duration of the super radius, the 8-bit station would stay with you, and somehow the basic attack kept getting multiplied as you were in the station. So like one would do 2,000, then the next one would do 4,000, and it would keep ramping up until the game would eventually crash. So here's an example of it. Instead of the super, we have the 8-bit station above our head that would never leave you, but you can see we're already doing ridiculous damage. 6,000 attack with that one first basic attack. Then we're here on the Carl, face first, 19,500 damage. And again, it just keeps getting more and more until the game can't handle the damage output and it would crash, killing the Piper here. 20,000 damage. Little bizarre bugging going on there as well. But here we are. The game crashes. Ridiculous. Too much damage. I think we get into a better example here in this clip where you can actually see the pressure on the game that it was having, right? This combination. The numbers themselves, I believe we started getting like green and red numbers, those weird buggy numbers, right? But ramping up again here, 15,000. On the Poco, we might get it. 28,000. Okay, that's a new high. Approaching max damage in the game, which is like 32 something. There it is! Brawl Stars is holding on for dear life. It's like, it can't handle it. Throwing in some green numbers, some red numbers, bam, and then it crashes. Such a good one, man. One of my favorites. We are here on number 3, and I had to put this one incredibly high up on the list, even though it's kind of a more simple one. But it was once again when we first discovered star power and gadget glitches being a thing, and the very first one that was incredibly eye-catching, and that was Brock's old star power, Incendiary on Coiled. So every single basic attack that Brock would have, one rocket would apply some damage, incendiary damage on the floor, but it would also be applied to Coiled's every singular shot. So you could just litter the map with incendiary circles, just burning the crap out of everything. But definitely the more cooler thing with this incendiary combination was when it was applied to Coiled's super. For some reason, the incendiary acted like a penny fireball radius on the ground, not just your regular small incendiary radius. Taking a look at it here, we even get like crazy explosions too. Look at that. My goodness. Isn't that beautiful? Here's another great example of it, just how nuts the super combination with it was. So cool, man. All right, so this next one coming in at number 2 was a little bit more of a newcomer in the short history of the star power and gadget glitches, and that was when a gadget was introduced for Jessie, the one that increases the fire rate of the snappy, right? You could use this on Penny, which interacted with her cannon in a ridiculous way. The mortar would shoot out, I think, like 33 cannonballs or something like that. It's a very eye-catchy one that literally the first time I watched it caught me by surprise like crazy. But yeah, have a look at that. Let it rain! Let it rain! It was enough to kill an entire high save. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Going into this one, I still remembered that I had no idea what this was going to do to it, and that was definitely the last thing that I thought it was going to do. It was freaking crazy. But coming in at number 1 was actually a gadget glitch, specifically one of Piper's gadgets, the heat-seeking gadget. Interacted so dang strangely with brawlers here in this game. First of all, I think you could utilize this on any brawler in the game, which is always a plus. Some star power and gadget glitches didn't work on particular brawlers. So watching it here on Brock, which is extremely cursed, right? Seeing a Piper shot pop out of Brock. But where this glitch truly shined was for brawlers that had multiple shots for their basic attack. It wouldn't just be one shot coming out, it would be multiple. So think of Gale, think of Ems, shotgunners. They would get like 6 or 7 different Piper shots. It's nuts. A pretty fun example, I don't think my favorite, I think Gale's is my favorite, but Ems had a wonderful interaction with this one, if you can see it here. I think shoots out 5 different Piper shots, just so dang cool. And of course, it wasn't just like a spread shot, it would also interact like Piper's heat-seeking, right? So they would all diverge and be like really weird looking. So cool, man, look at that. The bot didn't stand a chance. Here's one for Shelly. Oh yeah, that one's amazing. I think I like that one better than Ems's. And I believe they also had the same exact damage outputs as Piper's as well. So you can imagine how good it would be if you're like using some of these brawlers that had multiple shots, right? Oh, I forgot we tried on Bull here. Much like Shelly's, we get multiple shots as well. Oh, that's so cool. Finally, my favorite one. I think Gale had the most out of anyone. I think the next most was 5. I believe Gale's is 6. And yeah, it just goes so close together. Just in a row. 6. So good, man. Let's see. Let's shoot at the Carl here, I think. Yep. Do it. Do it. Do it, old Ray. Do it, past Ray. Come on. Yeah. You see him bend? So good, dude. But truly, this one I think will be my favorite one of all time. I think this one came in pretty much so at the very end of the lifespan of the star power and gadget glitches. For a little bit of lore, the reason they were removed from the game wasn't by design or anything. It wasn't intentional from the Brawl Stars dev team. It was when they reworked the advanced bot settings in friendly battles, when you could turn on bots and turn off bots and stuff like that. So that removed the glitch, unfortunately, but at least it's a fun little time capsule. We can take a look back from time to time at some of these amazing examples of the star power and gadget glitches. But yeah, dude, that's just about all I got for you guys here in this episode. It's so dang fun to be nostalgic from time to time. It's one of the best feelings ever, man. Star power and gadget glitches will be one of my favorite things forever here in Brawl Stars. But of course, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll be talking super soon. Adios and take care.